Why are the Spurs struggling so much? They are currently 14th in the Western Conference. I never thought I would see the day where a Gregg Popovich team would be struggling this much. Let's find out why. The day the Spurs traded away Kawhi Leonard and received DeMar DeRozan in return, the recreational NBA fan didn't think it was that big of a deal because DeMar DeRozan is an all-star. He did help the Raptors solidify that #1 seed in the East, and he's a hell of a player, don't get me wrong. But, as I have stated many times, he is not on that Kawhi Leonard level. Kawhi Leonard to me is an MVP type basketball player, top 3 basketball player in the world. DeMar DeRozan is not that guy. I'm sorry, I believe he's more of a complimentary star than a go-to guy. And the Spurs are seeing that firsthand right now as they're 14th in the Western Conference. Last year, he took many more threes, which I believe it was 3.6 attempts per game, which is good because he's a guy whose game doesn't really fit the modern NBA. Taking way too many long twos and not enough threes, but even though he shot a little bit over 30% last year, that was a massive improvement for him. This year, those numbers, those attempts have gone down from 3.6 to 1.6 attempts per game. That's not enough. It's not going to help the Spurs win many games this season. I know they have dealt with injuries all year long. Even prized rookie Lonnie Walker has yet to play a game, which once he does, I believe he's going to give that team a spark because I was super high on him. I had him ranked 9th on my big board. So I have nothing but praise for Lonnie Walker, but he's walking into a situation where it's just not the same in terms of Spurs-esque, right? So again, this is not all on DeMar DeRozan because as of right now, they are 29th in shots at the rim. Almost 47% of their shots have come from mid-range. That's 6% points higher than any other NBA team. That's a no-no, guys. Another thing that I want to talk about is they're not getting to the free throw line enough. So their overall shot profile is very old school. It just doesn't fit today's modern NBA, and it's a lot easier to guard. All of these teams want these guys to take long twos or just mid-range shots, if you guys want to call it like that. I believe that the Spurs will not make the playoffs, and the Gregg Popovich era, the excellence of this era, will end this season because the West is super tough. You have 3 teams that were not supposed to be good this year or above average, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings. All 3 of these teams will most likely be very competitive this season, which has only made the West that much more difficult. So the Spurs, even when they get Lonnie Walker, who I'm very high on, again, I had him ranked 9th overall on my big board, I don't think it'll be enough because the day that their starting point guard, DeJounte Murray's season came to an end, I thought that was just a knife in the heart the Spurs did not need at that moment. And then on top of that, losing guys like Danny Green and Kyle Anderson are really not talked about enough in my opinion. Those are 2 staple guys that really help things flow in that system, and giving up Green in that trade and then losing Anderson for nothing pretty much to the Memphis Grizzlies, who are having a lot of success this year, and him being a big part of that shows on the Spurs. So the lack of depth and then the lack of a true superstar, I believe a true #1. Again, don't get me wrong, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I love DeMar DeRozan, but to me he's more of a complimentary star, which is the reason why that the Raptors didn't win and went to the NBA Finals, because they had 2 complimentary stars in Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Again, I believe the Spurs have 2 of those guys in LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. I don't think it's enough. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.